I will show you exactly how I made this forearm sculpt in Blender, and this is going to be the best breakdown video that you've ever seen. Why? Because this is not a flex video. This is not a video to make it, oh wow, Ishaq makes it look so easy, bro. No. This is not a flex. Okay, I just want to share you the raw process, every step that will actually give you some value and some lessons to learn. There are so many lessons to be learned in this video. One thing I want to be clear about is that I don't like editing videos, bro. So I recorded the whole process and I will skim with you and I will show you all of the important steps. Okay. I believe it's not my responsibility to make you pay attention. If you want lessons out of this video, you have to pay attention yourself. Stop being a Jerry. Okay. And without any further ado, bro, let me show you how I sculpted this forearms. And also do let me know if you like this format, because this is something new that I'm experimenting with. I believe that there's so many lessons that I can share with my sculpting processes, and I want to share them with you. Okay, so this is the format that makes sense to me. Do let me know if this works for you as well. Perfect. So without any further ado, bro, first and foremost, the one thing that you need to make something like this is good references. Okay, and let me show you how I generate my references. So what I did was I had this image which I saw on Pinterest. Okay, and I really liked how this forearms look. It was a really, I don't know, badass version of forearms, and I wanted to sculpt it so bad. And then this is the prompt that I used: create a color digital full body sculpt reference. Yeah, you can read it, and you can just use this prompt for whatever image that you have. Okay, I use AI all the time to make references for me, and you can see here I made Cristiano Ronaldo. It's the same prompt. The only thing is that I changed the text here. Okay, featuring Ronaldo the footballer, featuring Ben 10. This wasn't really nice. This is what I really liked. So if you have an image that you find on the internet somewhere, instead of thinking that wow, you know better, then you should try working with a single plane. No, bro. You need references. Are you a dumbass? You need references. Everyone sculpts with a reference. Okay, and then this way you can just generate a front, back, side, and a third quarter. You have this. Boom, you're golden. You just load it up on Blender. The way that I load it up is I set up my screen this way, where this half is the image editor. So you can see this is the image editor, and this is where I sculpt. And you can just go here, whatever image that you have, for example, this image, just go here and drag and drop it in the image editor, and boom, you have your reference here. Now, I know some people are going to comment, hey, Ishaq, but why not use PureRef? PureRef is free software and it's super cool. Yeah, I agree. It's super cool. But the problem that I have with PureRef is that I mix up the shortcuts, man. So, like, for example, Control, Shift, whatever is the zoom in, zoom out here, but it does not work in PureRef. This way, all the keys that work here, they work here as well. If I want to zoom out, if I want to drag this image, they all are the same. And this just makes my life so much easier. So I just like using the image reference. And the way that I generate references, I already have the front, back, side, third quarter. And I don't need to have separate images on PureRef. I just pop that one image over here, like this one. And boom, I just use the Blender screen to navigate through this. Okay, this is probably the most important step, gathering good reference. Your sculpt is just a reflection of how good your reference and observation was. So I see so many people commenting under my videos, hey Ishaq, do you use references? And when I'm live streaming, should I use references? Dumbass, yes! Okay, it's pretty standard procedure, bro. And if you think that the professionals or these YouTube creators, they don't use references, they all do. They might not tell you. They might not say this because they want to sound cool. And they're just, I don't know, bro. I don't know why. I think they get a boner when they say, I don't use references, bro. It's not a flex. It's not a flex to say that you don't use references. It's stupid. It's literally stupid, bro. So stop thinking that you know better and have the reference, and then you look, sculpt. You look, make an observation, and implement it in your sculpt. This is how you sculpt. This is how everyone sculpt. This is how the professional sculpt. Da Vinci, when he painted the Mona Lisa, he didn't imagine it from his mind. He had a woman sitting in front of him, and then he painted her. Everyone uses references, bro. So anyone who tells you that I don't use references, bro, I know better, block them, unsubscribe them. Okay, and just comment a middle finger under the videos. Okay, with that said, let's move on with the breakdown. So let me load it up. Okay, first step first. Once you have the reference and once you have everything set here, let me mute this. We don't want some music here. Okay, perfect. So you can see here, this is where, by the way, I have a ultra wide, so ignore the black bars here and here. I can just put myself here. Let me make myself smaller. And yeah, this stage is where I just block things out. And the best thing that you can do is to stay as low poly as you can. Okay, you look at your reference and then you make that observation here. Okay, and yeah, over here, for example, here you can see that I looked at the chin of the character here, and then I decided, okay, this is how wide the chin is going to be. I then look at the side view and then I make that mark here. So let me draw it for you. What I am looking at is I'm looking at this line, this angle, and I'm trying to get that angle over here as well. Okay, so always when you're sculpting, you look, then sculpt. You look, then sculpt. Don't be a Jerry. Don't sculpt and then half a thing, oh, maybe I should look at the reference. So it's never going to end well. Okay, so always look at the reference, make an observation, implement it on your sculpt. Yeah, this is where I just block things out. So you can see everything is super low poly, and I keep everything low poly very intentionally. I'm making some observations here. I'm just making some landmarks. I'm not adding the details. I'm not making the eyes yet. I'm not adding the nostrils yet. I'm not adding the mouth yet. What I'm doing here is I'm just simply blocking out the features, just making a mental map of where things are going to be. And the reason that you keep this low poly is just think of sculpting as problem solving. Okay, your mesh, the poly count is the number of problems that you have to solve. So for example, if you let me show you this in Blender. Okay, so for example, if I have this cube here, okay, let's duplicate this cube. Let's duplicate it again, and let's say the reference is this shape right here. I want this shape. Okay, if I choose this cube right here, it's just one click, then two click, and boom, I have the same shape. This is because this cube was super low poly. Now, if I use the same cube here and I add more geometry, I have to move more things and I have to check for them. I have to go to the side view, maybe be like, oh bro, it's not matching here. Let me use this. And then let me drag this one here. Let me drag this one here. Let me drag this one here. Oh no, it did not select two. Oh my god, bro. Let me move this one here. So you see, by just simply changing the poly count, I just increased my work so much. I spent more time, and the shape is still not as desired. Okay, this is the same thing when you're sculpting. So the higher poly you go, the more polygons you have to move around, the more corrections you have to make, the more mistakes you have to make, and then you just spend more time fixing those mistakes rather than sculpting. So keeping everything low poly will allow you to know, okay, are the eyes correct? If they're not, you can easily adjust them. Is my nose right? Is the silhouette of the face right? If it's not, you can easily adjust these things. So always keep everything low poly initially. Okay. And yeah, here's another thing. So just imagine, I know a lot of people, I know Jerry's, and what Jerry's do is that they go extremely high poly from the beginning, and then they start adding pores, and they make a shitty sculpt, and then they think, okay, what really needs to improve my sculpt is adding pores. Yeah, I know this is a piece of shit, bro, but if I just add some pores, I know it's going to look so much better. This is what a Jerry does, bro. And this is, I'll be honest, this is what I used to do as well. And I learned it the hard way. So if the base sucks, no matter how many pores I add to it, no matter how many details I add to it, no matter how much time I spend on it, it's not gonna work. No amount of lighting, no amount of pores, no amount of details can fix a bad sculpt. So always keep everything low poly. Make sure that you're happy. Make sure that you're happy with the position of the eyes, with the width of the nose, with the, the mouth. And then once you're happy, then adding details is child's play. It's literally, it's a piece of cake. I will show you as we go further down as well. There you can see here, still super low poly, didn't add any details, and I just left it here. Okay, and then I'm making the body here. Once again, what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the silhouette of the character here, and then I'm just implementing those things here, just making observations consciously and then adding those things here. And yeah, you can see I'm blocking out the details. And yeah, you can see it's super low poly. How much is this? It's like 3,000 words right now, which is nothing. Okay, and you'll be surprised how much you can get out of this. The main point over here is to just get the features in. You can always adjust them later, but you want to add the features in right now, as everything is low poly. Be satisfied with the proportions, with the silhouettes. Just make observations here and implement those things here. Okay, look, sculpt, look, sculpt. And yeah, here's time for the legs. So the proportion of the legs is really simple. Let me show you a quick analogy. I did this over here as well. Oh, did I hide and hide this? Oh yeah, here you go. Okay, so when I'm making the leg, what I'm trying to look at is that the leg is almost the same height as the upper body. This is just a good proportion to be around. Okay, and when you place the leg, you place it at the bottom here. You don't place it here. Okay, this space, you just ignore it. You calculate that length, whatever the length of the body and the head is, and then you add that leg here. This is just a good proportion that works. You can always adjust these proportions later. But right now this works. And yeah, I added the ass. Let me give you an analogy for the ass as well. And yeah, by the way, guys, you don't need complex anatomy terms. You don't need to learn this like a doctor. You just need to learn this like an artist. I will show you few in as we go ahead as well. Like, you just need a few muscle groups. You're an artist. You're not a doctor. It doesn't matter if the back muscle is called, I don't know, the latissimus dorsi or whatever. Okay, if the ab is called the rectus abdominis or whatever the stupid names are. You're an artist. You're not a doctor. I know people who know anatomy front and back, memorize every bone and muscle, and the only thing that they can't do is sculpt. How ridiculous is that, bro? And when you learn anatomy this way, when you learn sculpting this way, you just simplify the process so much more, and you get results, I don't know, 10, 20 times quicker. Okay, and the analogy for the ass is, yeah, so some people like to associate the ass as a butterfly shape. So you can see it sort of looks like a butterfly, but the analogy that I came up with is someone is always pinching your butt. Okay, so imagine two fingers and they're pinching the butt, one from here and one from here. This is how the ass is going to be on male characters. Okay, someone is always pinching the ass. And yeah, here you can see I'm just looking at the shapes here. So I'm looking at this shape here. I see that this is a straight form. This is the same case with all the legs. You don't need to know about the names and everything, but yeah, the mass of the leg is going to be here. This is always going to be a straight line, and then this is going to be another curve here, and that is what I'm implementing here right now. Okay, so just capturing the basic silhouette, and you can see it's super low poly, only 2500 vertices. This is a trap. Okay, don't fall for it. Don't start adding details from the get-go. Make sure that you're happy with the overall shape first and then add the details. Okay, I will show you. I think it took me only 7 minutes to make the whole leg, and the only reason was that the base of the leg was good. Okay, perfect. And yep, here I noticed that the leg has two fingers only. And that is what I sculpted here. It looked very big to me here. I remember sculpting this. I think I just scaled it down a bit. But yeah, working on the leg, you can see the leg here. By the way, a really quick analogy for the leg is, remember that it's a curve in the front and a straight line in the back. And then it's a curve in the back and then almost a straight line in the front. It's not perfect, but this is what will get you a good ballpark. Okay, this is an easy way to remember the leg. And yeah, the one of the most common mistakes that I see on the leg is that people make it like a straight form, like this is the leg. No, bro, it's not the leg. The leg, it's, I told you, a curve on the front, a line in the back, a curve in the back, a line in the front, and it does go backwards. Okay, it's a bit slanted. Yeah, you can see really rough shapes, no extra details, only 5000 words. This is the most important stage. Okay, the blocking out. The details, yes, they are fun, but I promise you, the longer you delay them, the more happy you are with the base, the easier the details are going to be, the less time you're going to have to spend correcting those mistakes. Okay, so always pay. If you have an hour to sculpt, spend 40 minutes on the low poly, spend 40 minutes on the block out, and then 20 minutes on the detail will pass like a snap, and you will get results. Okay, for the arm, I'm just using two spheres, and yep, you can see I'm just angling them. I like to add the thumb here because it just gives me a better sense of the palm here. And yeah, once I was happy with this, I just duplicated them and I made the fourth arm as well, the third and the fourth arm as well. Okay, so I just simply duplicated the arms that I made up here. You can see, let me see if I can find it. Yep, it's going to be here somewhere. So let's wait for it. And the reason that I'm doing this is, although I'm not committing to this detail yet, but I just want to check the proportions. I want to see, does it make sense? Does it look good? And adding those four really rough arms gives me a better sense of the character that I'm working on. Okay, so the most important takeaway here is always spend most of your time on the low poly. Be patient with this. I know you want to get to the details. I want to get to the details as well. I know you want to make the muscles. I want to make the muscles as well. But if I can ensure that the base is nice, then the details, they are just a piece of cake. Okay, perfect. And up here, I just started adding a bit of the muscles. I was happy with the overall shapes. Now I'm adding more muscles. By the way, once again, I told you, you don't have to remember all of these muscles. This is really easy. Let me show you. Every arm is going to have the tricep here, this comma shape. We're going to have this one muscle in the center. Okay, you're going to have the shoulder tucking in here between this muscle and the bicep. And your gym analogy is really good. So if you know the gym muscles, that is all you need to know. That is all you need to know. I made breakdown videos on the channel as well. And if you want to learn sculpting this way, you can just book a call with me and we can explore how we can work together. And I promise I will make your life so much easier. Okay. So yeah, just learn with this non-medical method of the muscles. So, yep, just adding the thumb, making a block out for the thumb. And yep, adding a bit more muscles. That's just the main muscle groups. Nothing else matters. The name doesn't matter. I don't know the name of this. Yeah, this one is the brachioradialis. I've heard it so many times. I don't know the muscle of the one inside here. Don't know the name of the muscles, the tendons here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, and anyone who tells you it's important, I'll be like, yeah, bro, I'll believe you when I can see you make a good sculpt. If you can make a good sculpt, then yeah, you can argue with me. But if you suck at sculpting and you're memorizing name of the bones and muscles, don't come here, don't comment shit under my videos, bro. Okay, I won't take shit from you. And yep, here you see, just adding a bit more muscles. And yep, this is where I wrote this. So break time, rest my eyes. I upload the real-time videos inside my school. If that's something you're interested in, you could just check out the link in the description. And yeah, this is really important. So how long have we spent? We spent about 50 minutes and we are here. Okay. It's very important that you rest your eyes for a bit, because when you're sculpting for something for long, you develop tunnel vision. There are some things that you might miss. There are some things that are right in front of you, but because you've been doing this for a while, you don't realize those mistakes. And in this case, just go take a walk. I don't know, sip some tea, go take a dump if you have to. And then when you come back, I promise you're going to have much fresher eyes. This was part 1 where we did the low poly blackout. It took me 49 minutes. And yeah, you see, it already makes sense of the character that we're trying to make here. So this is the most important thing. The problem that happens is that people rush this step. They go into the details and then later they're like, oh bro, my proportions are off. I have to make the character bigger. I have to make the head bigger. I have to adjust the chest. The chest is not as wide. And then they are so high poly that they cannot adjust those things. It takes them hours and hours to fix some things that they could have simply avoided. Okay, this is why I tell you, low poly, the most important step. All right, let's move on to video number 2. So this is where I took a dump. Just kidding. I don't know what I did, bro. I don't remember. I just took a break and then I realized, oh, okay, I can fix the arms here. And then I realized that the chest is not as wide. I remember. Let me make the... Yep, you see, I saw the chest here and I was like, okay, bro, I need to make this a bit wider. Yeah, this happens when you allow yourself some time. So this is why it is also a good idea. Instead of doing sprints or marathon, or instead of doing sprints, like, oh, today I'm going to sculpt for 5 hours a day. No, bro. Chunk that 5 hours into 5 days and just sculpt for 1 hour a day. Do it consistently. Don't burn yourself out. This is the problem that so many people do. They have work, they have school, they have other stuff, and they're like, okay, I want to learn sculpting today. And then they sculpt for 5 hours in a row. And then the next day they don't sculpt anything. And then the third day they don't sculpt anything because they think that, okay, I need 5 hours. But I promise you, you only need 1 hour of practice every day. That is something that you can do consistently. That is something that does not take a lot of time. And with just 1 hour, you can sculpt great sculpts. Okay, I will show you some examples of my students as well. But yep, here we go. Just looking at the mistakes here with a bit of fresh eyes and then adding those details here. And yeah, once I was happy with the space, you can see now I'm adding the shoulder that I saw here. And you see, the chest is still super. The torso is still super low poly. and I'm just adding these details here. It's very easy to move things around, very easy to smooth, very easy to manipulate the shapes. So it's a good thing. And yep, now that I'm happy with the shape, I can go higher poly. I can add the muscles that I see. And yeah, it's really, really simple. So let me show you. This is not a good example of a torso because this is a bit unnatural. What I would recommend is that just go to the channel and there's a tutorial on how to sculpt torsos, and I will break down torsos so easily for you, bro. Okay, it's really, really simple. Okay, let me just load up a reference. Let me show you. So let's go to Pinterest. Let me show you the non-medical, the non-doctor way of learning sculpting. I will show you how to learn like a artist and not a doctor. Torso sculpt. Okay, so every torso that you will ever see ever will have this same pattern. Okay, just remember this. This is the chest, and the chest is a fan-shaped muscles where all of the muscle fibers, they go and tuck here under the shoulder. Okay, the torso will have of course it will have the abs, and usually what will happen is that the belly button will line with the third pair of abs. In this case it's a bit higher, but most cases you're going to see it line up with the third pair of abs. That is the most natural. Okay, that is the most common shape. You will see these saw-shaped muscles, which you can see peeking out here, and from the saw-shaped muscles you will see lines coming straight towards the abs. That is it, my friends. That is it. So if you look at this example, you can see it's the same thing. It's the same thing. This is the chest. You can see it tucking in here between the shoulder, and all of the fibers, they're going to point this way. You can see the saw-shaped muscle here. You can see the abs here. So 1, 2, 3, and then on the third pair, the belly button, just like I told you. And from these saw-shaped muscles, you will see these lines coming towards the abs. Super, super simple. Whatever reference, pick whatever reference, and this is the pattern that you will find. And when you're sculpting, your only task now is to observe these things and implement in your sculpt. I didn't tell you any fancy names. I didn't tell you any fancy bones. Okay, you don't need that information. I don't mind being the unprofessional artist. I know these artists out there, they want to sound cool. They want to make you to sound like, I'm a professional, bro. I know all of these names of the bones and the muscles. But what happens in the process is that they overwhelm you. Well, the reason that I know this is because this happened to me. When I followed tutorials from the artists that I was inspired by, I saw them pulling out these names, really fancy names, and it just overwhelmed me. I have to learn the skeleton, I have to learn the muscles, I have to learn where they attach, where they end, what's the insertion, what's the, I don't know, whatever these terms are. And it just kept me overwhelmed for more than 6 years. 6 years I delayed sculpting, and I was so passionate about making characters. And then when I did commit to it, I just realized that this was never important. This was never something that I had to learn. Okay, and this is just my mission, bro. I just make sculpting easier. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to help younger me learn sculpting easier. So you watching right now, you're younger me, and everyone who's clicked off is a Jerry because they just cannot handle the truth. Like, oh, this guy is a bit harsh, asshole. I'm trying to help you. Okay, these people have been nice to you, and where has it gotten you? Okay, I'm just telling you the truth, straight as it is. You don't need this information. All you need is what I told you. So you can see here, even in this Wolverine sculpt, it's the same thing. The chest is like a fan-shaped muscle, and you can see everything goes and tuck here between under the shoulder. You can see the abs. This is the first pair, this is the second pair, this is the third pair, and on the third pair you see the belly button. You can subtly see these saw-shaped muscles, and from the saw-shaped muscles you will see these lines coming towards the skull. Okay, so hence point proven. And the same thing is happening here. It's the same drill, bro. But since he's a bit unnatural, it's gonna be a bit tricky to find out these things. So you can see here, this is the chest, all tucking here and under the shoulder. You can see here. Okay, there's a call to prayer. So let me pause this and I'll be right back. Just a sec. All right, I am back. So let me show you. You can see here, this is the chest, all coming here and tucking in under the shoulder. Now this is, of course, it's something new. It's a new muscle that this artist had to invent because of course he's unnatural. And then you can see the first pair of abs, the second pair of abs, the third pair of abs. There's no belly button because he's wearing the suit. But yeah, you can't really see the saw-shaped muscles. They are tucked under the arm, but you can definitely see these lines coming in towards the abs. It's really, really that simple. Yeah, this is onto work speed. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you can see here, this is exactly what I did. So 3 abs and then lines going towards the chest. And yep, then a bit more defining, adding the muscles of the legs. The muscles of the legs are really, really simple as well, bro. What you're going to see always on every leg is you're going to see this teardrop muscle. You're going to see this diamond shaped muscle. Okay. And then you're going to see this almost teardrop shaped muscle on this side. Okay. It's not exactly a teardrop because it curves around to the other side, but from the front, it does look like a teardrop. Then you're going to see this knee. On the knee, this teardrop is always lower than this teardrop. The sides are always straight forms. And then this bulge that you see, these are muscles on the back of the legs. Okay, I will show it to you. Yeah, you see. Okay, so let me show you. So here we have the undetailed leg. And what's the time? Know the time here. So it's 11:37. And this is where we have the complete leg, which is 20:37. So 11, it's like 9 minutes, bro. Okay, so in 9 minutes, I have the completed leg. Why? Because the base was already there. All I had to do was to add some details to it. This is why I keep telling you, I keep emphasizing on this, that the low poly is the most important thing. Always, always, always pay attention to the low poly. Once you're happy, only proceed with the details once you're happy with the low poly. Okay, because then all you have to do is to add the details. That is it. If you have a good face, like for example, you're making a face, you have a good face, you have a good base, and now when you add pose, it's going to look nice. When you have a shitty face that doesn't even look like the reference, no matter how many pose you add to it, bro, it's not going to look nice. It's going to look bad. Another example to really help you understand this is just imagine a cake. Okay, so a cake has icing, right? Icing is the final step. If the cake is bad, if it tastes like, I don't know, if it tastes like shit, bro, no matter if you have the best icing in the world, it's still going to be a bad cake. But if you have the best, juiciest, moist cake ever, and then the icing on it is not as beautiful as you'd want it to be, it's still going to be a nice cake. It's still going to be something that you can enjoy. The same thing with sculpting. If the base sucks, then the final result will suck. No amount of details is ever going to help you improve that. So just adding the details on the legs here. And yeah, over here I was happy. So for the fingers, what I did is I just used a cube. I stretched it out. And the reason I use the cube is because it really helps with the 4 dimensions of the fingers. If you use a cylinder, which you can, of course, but with the cylinder, I just feel a bit lost. Okay, where's the front? Where's the back? With the cube, it's really easy. So I know this is the back, this is the side, and that is the front. So it's just something that I like to do because it's easier. There, you see, I just add a bit more geometry, and when I smooth it, it does look like a finger. And then I just smooth on the inner side here. Okay, I did not smooth it yet. I'm just using the pose tool to have the curvature of the fingers. An important point to notice here is that these, these segments of the fingers, they're not equal. So even if you look at my finger, bro, the first one is the longest one, and then the last one is the smallest one. Okay, so it's not uniform. This is the longest, and then the second longest, and then the least longest, always. Okay, and the natural position of the hand when you're making a corrector, it's not like this, it's like this. Okay, where, I mean, if you just relax your hand a bit, you're going to notice this shape where this one is almost straight, this one bent, this one bent, this one bends the most. Okay, this is the natural shape of the hand. Now if you're making something that you have to rig later, it can be a problem. But if you want to rig a corrector, then yes, straight fingers is better. Okay, perfect. But I don't want to rig this. And you see, when I smooth it on the inside, it just gives it a bit of more of a finger shape. So yep, they're really simple. I just duplicated them and then I made the rest of the fingers really, really easy. Just curling the fingers on the back a bit more than the one on the front. Just finding a natural position for them. And yep, duplicated that, made it on the lower hand. Really, really simple. And not combining it yet. But what I do here is I like to make the knuckles. So you can see here, when I make the hand, I like to dig instead of pulling it out. Because if I pull out, it sometimes ruins the shape. I don't like it. So what I do is I just dig in. Let's wait for it to happen. So yeah, you can say I'm using the draw brush and I'm digging in between them. Okay, and this just makes the knuckles automatically. You can say it's just making the knuckles, which looks nice. So this is an easier way to do it. And yep, just making sure of the details here. Now I went to the face, and yeah, you see now I'm going high poly, very high poly, and then with the draw brush I'm just making the eyeballs, just a rough placement for the eyeballs. And I always like to check the bottom view. So you see I'm in the bottom view now. Why do I check the bottom view? Because the eyes, they are a very round form. It shouldn't be flat. This is a very common mistake that people make. Okay, so always check the bottom view. The face naturally has curvatures in everything. So the mouth is curved, the nose is curved, the eyes is curved, the overall face is curved, everything is curved. And if you just make things flat, it doesn't look nice. So always check the bottom and the front view. This is very underrated and underestimated area. Okay. Yeah, we have the reason that the eyes are round is because we have the eyeballs. And yep, of course we have the eyeballs and the eyelids, they wrap around them. Okay, so see I added a rough placement for the eyeballs here. I'm adding it roughly for the ones in the bottom, and I can make sure. Here's another important detail. So from the side view, the eyes always have this angle where the upper eyelid is ahead of the lower eyelid. Okay, it should curve. This one you can see it's slanting a bit forward, and this is not right. Oh, what happened? Okay, let me try to find it again. Yep, this isn't right. So always make sure that the upper eyelid is ahead of the lower eyelid. Okay, and yeah, this is a bit of a jerry move that I did. So I was adding these folds which I see in faces when I'm sculpting humans, but it does not exist here. See, so this is where I was being a jerry, and everyone is a jerry at some point. So see, I'm adding this fold here, whereas over here it does not exist. The only crease I can see is this one. I don't see any crease going along the face, and that is when I realized I'm being a jerry, bro. And then I undid it. Okay, so always look and sculpt. Look, sculpt, look, sculpt. Sculpt what you see. Don't sculpt what you think you know. Okay, because you don't know better. You don't know anything. Always when you have a reference, look at the reference and implement those things. Okay, perfect. So yep, adding more details here, and yep, nothing special here. Did I combine everything? Let me see. Yep, here you can see I was happy with everything, and what I did is I just combine everything here. Okay, and very importantly, when you remesh along the hand, if you have a high remesh value, what's going to happen is that the fingers, they're going to combine. So you can see here, you see how the fingers just combine. This happens because you're still low poly and Blender tries to join those meshes together. So in order to avoid this, you have to be high poly. You have to use a lower remesh value, and you should be very careful when doing this with the hands. Okay, what happens a lot of time is that people remesh to combine the fingers with the hand, and then they don't check if the fingers are connected. So you see something like this. Yeah, exactly here. So see the fingers connected here. And sometimes if you miss this and you progress with your sculpt further, there's no going back. There's no fixing this. Okay. So it's better to just avoid them rather than coming back and trying to find ways to fix it or doing it again. So you see what I did was I just selected this and then I moved this finger away. And yep, now I try to remesh again, and when it did remesh, okay, this is a bit rising. I went and checked in the hand, and now it wasn't combined, and yep, perfect remesh. So this is nice. Now I can just combine the fingers, make the knuckles, just work on the things that I've already made sure look nice early on in the process. Yeah, just going and refining the shapes a bit. So see, once you have a good base, details is not a problem. It's not at all a problem. Okay, just going here, touching up some things, fixing some things that I see. And yeah, now it's time to make his clothes. So clothes are really simple. I just use the lasso mask tool and I keep selecting the mesh. So just select, make a circle, and it will select, or you just hold Control or Alt. I'm not sure. This is really funny, bro. Like when I'm sculpting, I remember these things from memory, and now I have to check if it's Control or Alt. So if I select this, Yes, alt. No, it's control. So control select, it deselects things, and if you select as a circle, it just selects thing, and you can keep making more circles to select more and more. You can always use control to deselect some things. The important thing about lasso mask tool is that it goes through the mesh. So if I make a selection here, it's making a selection all the way through. So this is something that you have to be careful with. By the way, another really cool trick to mask something is, for example, you want to mask this arm, right? And only this arm. So you press Shift A starting here, and the more you drag your cursor, the more your mask is going to expand. This is just a cool way to mask some things as well. Okay, I just wanted to show you these really cool tricks. Perfect. Let's move on. So yep, I just made some selections looking at where are the sleeves and everything, just making selections, and yep, really simple. Just looking at this shape here, trying to implement it here. And whenever you want to fine tune these things, you can always just use the mask brush and define your mask a bit better. So I will use the mask brush here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, see here I'm using the mask brush. So with the mask brush, I'm just selecting parts of the mesh or deselecting, just trying to get a better shape of what I want. Yep, here you can see I had the mask, and when you have the mask, all you have to do is go here. Oops, let me go back. Yep. Once you have the mask, all you do is, yep, go here, go to mask. You see, I'm on mask. And then you go to mask extract. And then you make sure these boxes are ticked, and then you extract. And then what happens is that it will use the mask that you made to make it into a separate mesh. Okay. And yeah, I realized there was a hole there, so I went in and filled it with the mask brush. Now I'm mask extracting again. And yeah, here you see, here you have the value of thickness. This value, you have them here because you ticked those boxes, the boxes that I told you. Okay, these two boxes. If you don't tick them, you won't have the modifier. When you tick them, you have the modifier. And what happens with the modifier is that you can adjust the thickness and everything. So you can play with these sliders, make it a bit more thick if you want, make it less thick if you want, but this is going to be very heavy on your computer. What you can do is go here and deselect one of these, so it will disable it in viewport mode. And when you're happy with the details, you can always enable it back. Okay, so working with this, it can be a bit taxing on your computer. If your computer is hanging, just go here and deactivate it in the viewport, make those details, and then turn it back on. Okay, just tip here. And you see some parts they go in, so I'm just pulling them out. And yep. Now I'm just coloring everything. And this is what I noticed here. Okay, so as I was coloring this, I noticed, oh boy, I forgot to select this part. This wasn't masked, and now I have a hole. By the way, I don't know how to fix this. So if any one of you knows how to fix these holes, please leave a comment. I will personally thank you. And yeah, you will be my guardian angel. Okay. So yeah, if you know how to fix this, let me know, bro. The only thing that I knew what to do at this point was to delete the mask, go back and select again, make all the selections again, and then extract it again. And yeah, this time I had a better result. Now what I was doing is I was just masking all of the area that I wanted for these black lines, because masking is easier. Once you have the mask, you can just easily paint it in one go. You can easily adjust these shapes. But if you're just painting directly, it can be a bit hard. Okay, so I'm just selecting everything here. This menu, by the way, let me show you. This menu, so whenever you're masking something, you can always hold A, and then you can use these settings. So for example, over here, let's say I use the mask brush and I have this line, so I can always hold A. It will give me more options. I can sharpen the mask if I want, I can soften the mask, I can shrink, I can grow, I can invert. So you have all of these settings over here as well. Okay, so this was a handy thing. A lot of people don't know about this. I didn't know about this for a long time. And yeah, this is something that is useful. So yep, I just selected everything. Once I had the selection, I tried using face sets, but I don't know how to use face sets yet. I was just experimenting. That is something that I need to educate myself on as well. But I do know that instead of masking everything again, you can always make face sets and use those face sets as the mask. This is something that I know, but how to do it, I don't know. I still have to study that part. And yep, you can see here, I just added the colors And yep, so break number 2. How long are we into this? Almost 2 hours into the project. And colors bring so much life to the sculpt that you're making. So break 2, time to take another dump and then come back with fresher eyes. Let's go to part 3. Let me go here, let me load up the video. And yeah, this is where I just saw some details that I missed out. I noticed that I did not make the toes. It would have been easier if it was still low poly, but it doesn't matter. I am a pro. I can do this. I got this. It doesn't matter, bro. I can sculpt high poly. You can't. Just kidding, bro. I mean, I always like to stick to low poly, but there's not much that could have been done here. So I just stuck to the high poly and added the nails here. Okay, gave them a bit of a darker color because over here in the reference they are a bit darker as well. And yeah, just adding the nails, just adding the details because why not? I wanted this to be a portfolio piece. If this was just a practice piece, I would have stopped here. I would have stopped on my result here because I got the proportions right, I got the muscles right. And this is a very important when you're practicing as well. So let's say you're practicing just the face. You don't have to add the pose and everything to practice the face. You're just practicing how to make a good face. So as long as you have something like this, which looks decent, which looks presentable, you can absolutely stop. Some people, some Jerrys, they just don't know when to stop. And they think, oh, I have to complete this head from A to Z and then it is a practice. No! You set intention with your practice. If this was just a practice, I wanted to see, okay, how can I sculpt a 4-armed creature? I would have stopped here. But I wanted this to be a portfolio piece, so I committed to this longer, and that is why I added these details. Otherwise, you don't have to. When you're practicing, just practice what you want to improve in, what you want to experiment with, and then when that task is complete, just stop. Okay? There's no point adding all the pose and everything. Okay? Practice should always be intentional. This is the difference between people who keep learning things for years and never learn anything versus the people who learn things instantly. Okay, so this is the difference between my students and the other students. So you can see my students, they get results in literally 30 days, 12 days, 10 days, 22 days, 15 days. And this is all because I just teach you in the non-medical method. Okay, so if this is something you're interested in, this course is free, by the way. This one is not. This is paid. And if you want to see if this is a good fit for you, just go ahead, click the link in the description, book a call with me, and you can see, bro, Vlad, he was struggling with anatomy. Yep, he got insane results. Quick review, this course isn't super long compared to other people. Some are 3x, 5x longer, and they often barely have any explanation and tons of sped up footage. This one gets straight to the point, no bullshit, no overwhelming anatomy terms, and to be honest, you can learn those things later. Of course you can learn those things later. The only important thing is the basics, is that you learn this like an artist and not a doctor. You can see Henry's result. This is the best course I've seen in 5 years and probably the most intuitive and unoverwhelming. Day 13. This is his 13th day of trying to learn anatomy. And this is the result that he got. Why? Because I don't entertain the bullshit, bro. It's not my style. I only teach you the things that are important. It doesn't matter. The name of the bones, yeah, they might sound cool, but does it matter? No. Then I won't teach it to you. Because you don't need that. You are an artist. You are not a doctor. Okay. And then, yep, here you go. So, adding the nails. For the Omnitrix here, I'm not really good at hard surface modeling, bro. And I'll be honest, I suck at modeling in Blender as well. So, what I did is I just masked this overall shape here. I did the mask extract. I painted this black. So you can see, I painted this black. And then I just add this cylinder. And then I squished it, placed it here. And yep, I just did some poly modeling here, just some extrusion, some insetting, just to get some of these details for the inner Omnitrix, for this shape right here, the inner shape. I was a bit confused. I don't know how to do it. So what I did was I duplicated this inner cube, this inner disc. And yep, I did a loop, a grid fill, aligned it this way, and yep, I deleted all of these vertices. Yep, let me show you quickly. So I deleted all of these vertices inside. I kept this one, and then I attached this vertex to this vertex with the knife tool, and boom, I had this logo, the Omnitrix logo. Really, really easy. Nothing too complex, man. And yeah, I suck at sculpting. So I took this, yep, inverted everything else, deleted everything else, extruded this, gave it some thickness. And that was the inner badge. And yep, I wasn't really satisfied with it. So what I did was I duplicated the one inside as well. You can see it's going to be here somewhere. Okay, I'll get to it later. But here I was making this part right here. So I just used a cube, squished it, placed it, add some loops here, and yeah, extruded them out. And yep, that is all I did for these. It doesn't matter, but it's tiny. Then I added some colors to the Omnitrix. I like this separation between them. Okay, this black line, this separation. So what I did was I duplicated the mesh below this, gave it some thickness. Okay, gave it some thickness, and then I used this part. Okay, I just used this one to boolean on this hole, and it gives me just this part remaining. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So here you can see I just did the boolean modifier, and it just leaves me with this part right here. I then just scaled it down a bit. Okay, and then I moved it apart, and then I have this line, this separation in the middle. I'm not the best at modeling. I suck at modeling in Blender, especially. I'm really good at modeling in Maya, but Blender, I don't know, it just does not work for me. I don't like how Blender performs in modeling. That's why I just stick to sculpting. And yeah, that is pretty much it. What else did I do? Is there anything else I'm missing? Yeah, I just used the brushes to just I don't know how to make this thingy right here, so I just completely skipped it. I don't want to spend time on this. So yeah, I just refined this shape, and here I have it. Let's go to the final part. So this is the final part. I have the Omnitrix. Now it's the final for the final details. I just realized, bro, that I completely missed the ears. And then I was sculpting the ears here on the high poly because there was no alternative to this. I have to suck it up and just do this. It would have been much easier if I did this in the low poly, but it's okay. I made the ear here. And the ear is really, really simple, bro. You just have to make sure of a few things. That is this 9 shape, and then this Y shape, and then this digging in between. Okay, if you have this, it's easy. If you're struggling with this, go check out the free health sculpting course I have in the description. Okay, I will teach you step by step. Yep, here what I did was I masked the area for the eyeballs. Okay, and then I inverted that. Let's go to 2x speed. And I just used a big draw brush to push them in, just to make the space for the eyeballs, because we will have eyeballs. And the reason we have eyeballs is because I told you the eye, it's curved. It wraps around the inner eyeball. So just add the eyeball, trace it around it, and there's no need to eyeball this. Okay, bad joke. Never mind. Yep, there's no need to eyeball this, bro. You just add that circle and then you wrap the eyelids around the eye. It's really that simple. Okay. Excuse me. I'm having a bit of a sore throat today. I don't know why. Yep. Refining these things, adding the details of the mouth, and yep. All is working well because I already have a good base. Then I select the head and then the body, and then I combine them. And then just refining the shape in between, smoothing the transitions, because we don't want the neck to be this visibly separate. And yep, working on the mouth, adding the features here, just looking at the sculpt, seeing what's missing, adding it there. Once again, just look, sculpt, okay. And yep, I saw this dark line in the center, which looked pretty cool. So I was painting it as well. And yeah, you can just use the paintbrush here, just the poly paint. You don't need to UV texture. You don't need to UV unwrap. You don't need texture, make an image. It's okay. You just poly paint this and it's absolutely fine. Okay. And yeah, one more detail I saw that this, the pants thingy, the trousers, whatever this is, the spandex, had these gray meshes, whatever. And initially I did thought that, what a difference will it make? I can just ignore this part. I thought, okay, if I'm committing this for a portfolio piece, bro, I should just add it. It's okay. And I just selected the mesh here with the mask brush. And once I had that, I, of course, once again, just mask extract. And to be honest, bro, it looked really cool. I just gave it a bit of a lighter color than the rest of the pants. And you can see a hole here. So let me fill that up. Yep, done. And yeah, it looked really, really cool. Really cool. Okay. And yeah, now was the time for the spikes. I just realized I forgot the spikes. So I'm now adding the spikes. And yeah, after I added the spikes, I also dug in a bit on the arm, because you need to make sense of the spikes with the rest of the body. If you just place them there, it's not going to look nice. So do add these, a bit of a bump, dig it in a bit. It's going to look nice. One more tip that I have for you is when you're adding details like this, for example, the spikes here, make sure that they are not uniform. Make sure that you're not using the same spike on every spike. Make sure that you have a bit of randomness on the size, a bit of randomness on the curvature. Okay, you can see me doing it here. I am moving them around. I am giving them different curvature. I'm giving them different sizes. And the reason that I'm doing this is because, remember, bro, in 3D, imperfection is perfection. Okay, nothing in the real world is perfect. The skin pores are not perfect. The textures are not perfect. Whatever thing you put, I don't know, bro. You pick up your phone, it's going to have smudges. It's going to have fingerprints. It's never going to be a crystal clear surface. This is what people do. So when they make glass, for example, they just use the most shiny, clean material. No, you have to add a bit of roughness. You have to add a bit of smudges. That is what is going to make it look real. For example, if you're making a book stack in Blender, make sure that some books are placed this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. They are in a bit of a... They have a bit of chaos, and that is what is going to give your scene the most realness. It's going to make it look convincing. So you can see here with the spikes, I'm not making them perfect. I'm not making them absolutely identical. I'm randomizing the size, I'm randomizing the curvature, and this is what you should do as well. Okay, this will make a big difference, I promise you. And yeah, with that, those spikes, here's the final result. And I said that this was a portfolio piece, so let me show you some of the renders. Okay, so here are the renders. Super nice. See, looking really nice. And I'm glad I did this leg thing, the pajama thing. I also added this emission shader here on these faces, just to give the Omnitrix a bit of a glow, because why not? Okay, and you can see this forearm in his glory. And yes, my guys, so let me know if you enjoyed this breakdown, if you like this breakdown, or do you want sped up versions where I'm just talking shit and I'm not really sharing any insightful value, and I'm just rubbing my balls on your face because I'm such a cool artist, bro. I make it look so easy. No, bro. I just want to show you the exact process, everything that goes into making this character. Okay, so yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this breakdown. And if you're interested, if you want to learn sculpting in the easiest way possible without being overwhelmed by anatomy and these bullshit terms, just book a call with me and we'll see what's possible. Okay? Here's a fist bump. Goodbye, my friend.